Hey, Gary back with you. AI blogging using GrooveBlog day 3. We're back inside of Groove and we are going to click to verify our domain and we're going to validate those DNS settings. You can see here now we are secured and connected. Next up is choose the primary app for this domain. If you remember in video 2, we talked about what we were going to do. Of course, you can set any of these as the primary. We're going to go with Groove Pages as the primary, and we're going to test and see if this works. This is my theory. Set Groove Pages as the primary, and then use GrooveBlog inside of the GrooveBlog settings as the main domain, and then I'll be able to function within the DNS settings. Of course, you can click DNS at any time, and you can add in different DNS records as needed. Of course, you have all the different types of DNS records. This configuration right here is the type of configuration that you would see if you were using Cloudflare, because on the back end, Groove is interconnecting with Cloudflare, but they've set it up so you can control all your DNS now that you've set it up with them inside of Groove with your name registrar. Of course, we used Namecheap. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see if that works by closing this, going back to GrooveBlog, and then finalizing some of these settings to get our domain set up before we move on to the technical stuff with connecting our GrooveBlog to Google so Google can see the traffic. Here we have the domain section. We're going to go ahead and publish this to the root domain. And here I wanted to select the domain. Go ahead and edit domains. And this may be where it's not going to work. Let's see. Here we go. GrooveBlog, subdomain, add a new subdomain. I don't want to add this to a subdomain. GrooveBlog, but maybe I have to. See, these are the questions that I don't have the answers to without just playing with it. So let's go ahead and close that again. Publish to the root domain, and I would select the domain. Publish to the domain.com, and see here, it's going to allow me to set it up to universalriddled.com. So let's do this and go back to settings and billings, domains. Let's go back to this. Let's see if I click this. Can I change this? Yeah, you can add a new domain here. Let's go back and add GrooveBlog. It's still asking for add new subdomain name. So I may have messed this up when I set that up as Groove Pages. And I may have to set this up with GrooveBlog as the primary if I don't want to publish that with /blog. Because again, if I go back and I publish this to domain.com/blog, it is under the same domain, but it won't have that page there. Let's see here. Publish to the root domain, select domain, edit domains, manage domains, GrooveBlog, add a domain. Let's do this. Let's delete this. Yes, delete it. And then let's add a domain back. We'll go ahead and we'll set it up. I'll go ahead and I'll go back to Namecheap and I will copy this and I will set this up. And like I said, this is a true case study. I am doing this and showing you what it is I'm doing as I'm doing it and thinking it through. Even when I start creating the content, I'll be going through this process. So let's make sure Dora and Major, next, validate DNS records. It should validate that. Complete the process, pending verification. They should be there. 404, validate DNS records. It should have validated that. I don't know why it wouldn't have validated it at this point. Maybe I'm going to have to wait again, but I wanted to re-add it. So I could add GrooveBlog as the primary now because my thought didn't work to set Groove Pages as the primary and then inside of the blog settings, make it still be the root domain. Yeah, request failed with status code 404. And because I added this and then I went back and deleted it and I went and added it, I may have to contact Groove support to get that done. And if that's the case, then we'll have to do that. And I'll do that. Let's see. Let's try this one more time. Yep, there we go. Secure and connected. Now let's set up the DNS. Just took it a few minutes for it to figure it all out. And go back. Choose primary app. Again, we're focused here. Choose primary app. We'll go ahead and set the GrooveBlog as the primary app. Now you can see that GrooveBlog is the primary app. You still have the same options inside of DNS to add records, even though we have set it as GrooveBlog. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and close that now. And then let's refresh this just to get this all back on the same centered field here. So now publish to the root domain. And now you can see that we can publish it to universeunriddled.com. Publish to a subfolder. See, it doesn't show up here. So that is the key. The key is that setting for the root domain is setting the primary app to GrooveBlog. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that, and then we'll just stick with it and see what we can do as far as the other pages that we wanted to publish. And we'll go ahead and let's select the domain, select the location, and it'll be the root, and we'll go ahead and we'll save that. So now we have that set to universeunriddled.com. And now if we go back to home and go back under open blog, go back to publish. And now when we visit the blog, it should take us to unriddled.com. And you can see right there. Now this gave us a version number. That may just be tracking for the button inside of GrooveBlog, this visit button here. But we published that. And now we are published to unriddled.com. And as you can see, here's our first blog post. Of course, that's under a category. I clicked on the categories. So you see the tag there, or the slug for categories and the URL. If we click on the post, that'll change to post. So you can see now that that is our structure. We have categories and we have post. But the question that does come into play here is what and where and how do we publish these? So let's just do this right quick and copy this and go back into Groove, because again, we have the settings under our domains. We published it to the root domain. So now if we go back to Groove pages, let's see what kind of settings we have. And this really isn't part of GrooveBlog because we have what we need. Absolutely 100%. We could build that out. But let's go ahead and come up with a new site and come up with single pages, and we'll just use a blank template, and we're going to call that, I don't want to call that privacy policy. I want to call this unriddled, universe unriddled. I don't know why I always want to start with unriddled. Universe unriddled, and we'll call this site universe unriddled, and we'll go ahead and we'll start building, and we'll see what we can do here when we publish these inside of Groove pages. And then we will go on and we'll move on under our universeunriddled@gmail.com, and we will set up Google Analytics as well as Google Search Console now that we have our domain settled as far as for the configuration of the blog. Here, I'm going to go ahead and I just want to create a page real quick. We'll go ahead and we'll just use the elements, and we'll just grab this real quick and just put it in here so we have something. And we'll go ahead and we will update that just so we know what we're looking at. Got all that, universeunriddled.com, just so we know it when we look at it. We'll go ahead and we'll look at publish under pages. And again, I was looking at privacy policy. I want to call this the privacy policy page. And real quick here, the pages, if you've never seen how this works, under pages, you create the website and then you create the pages and then you have the settings for your pages. So here, what I want to do is I want to call this, and I think I'm going to need a index page. So let's play with this real quick. Under publish, manage domains, and your hosting options, you have manage domains. That takes you back here. We want to set up the hosting options, and we want to select a custom domain, and we want to see it's not going to give us the option because we didn't define one yet. We would need to set up a custom domain, pages.universeunriddled.com. That's going to be the only way that we're going to be able to do this if we want to use pages. So let me show you what that would look like. Come under domains real quick. We'll manage these domains. We'll go ahead and we will set up a name here, a subdomain, and we'll just call these pages.groovepages or pages.universeunriddled.com. And what we'll do here, I'm not sure what this edit button is. I don't think we need to do anything else. No, that's all we need to do. Go ahead and we'll save that again, just to be safe on the safe side. So now we have pages.unriddled or universeunriddled.com, and we'll go ahead and go back. Of course, there we go. But the primary is all under GrooveBlog. We'll close that. It'll take us back to the hosting options. And now we're going to have to refresh this. That is saved. We'll go ahead and we'll just refresh that. And then we'll save this page just to move forward with this, because the pages themselves, I was trying to keep it all under universeunriddled.com and then use /pages. And that was my thought, that I could build these out that way and keep even the pages underneath the same domain, universeunriddled.com. But it looks like we're going to have to use a subpage, and that's fine. We'll go with custom domain. And here you can see Universe Unriddled, and you can select the location. See, now it is giving me the option to put it under the root domain, but we selected GrooveBlog as the root domain. So if we say now that GroovePages, it should publish on the root domain, that may cause an issue. So let's do it this way just to get it published and see what happens before I totally mess this up. And real quick, I'll show you what this is going to look like. Now, when you click on that, you're going to see here, this is pages.universeunriddled.com. So now what I would do is I'd come back and I would actually create another page, because this is going to be the index page. That's the home page under this new domain, pages, or subdomain, pages.unriddled.com, under the root domain. And of course, our blog is still the root domain that we set up inside of DNS. And that's why I don't want to publish this page to the root domain, because it would overwrite this blog, is what I'm thinking. And I don't want to mess this up too bad, because I really want to start publishing content. And I don't think this is going to have that big of an issue, or be that big of an issue as far as, you know, link juice or the authority or the information that we're posting about astronomy. The articles that are the blog posts under universeunriddled.com, these are just about pages, privacy policies, and marketing pages. They don't really add any authority or expertise, I would say, to the domain itself. So I really wouldn't worry about it. And we can always interlink them. So if that's a problem, I don't think it's going to be a big problem. Here you can see I made a copy of that. Now what I will do is, you'll see that I'm editing this. I want to make this the privacy policy. So I'm going to make this the privacy policy page. And I'm just going to call this page URL privacy policy, because it kind of makes sense. And I don't know that I need a hyphen there. I'm just going to take that hyphen out. And I'm going to make this the privacy policy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say privacy policy. Well, let's just go privacy policy. And then I will click around here a little bit, and what happened there? Delete this. And then I will unlink that, because I don't want that link. So I'll click here. That should have unlinked that. Then of course here, like, we'll get rid of these buttons, and then we'll come back and we'll make this a real privacy policy page. Of course, we won't need this. We may add an image later, so we'll go ahead and cancel that. Save, and then we'll publish, because we may add an image here and put some more information. Now you can see we'll publish the website. And this is kind of a glitch right now, because once we publish the first page and you come back to publish, you'll see this still says website. We're going to reload this. You're going to see this is going to change to website, and now it's going to say pages. So we'll come back and we will say publish. Now you can see it's broken up into website and current page. Of course, we published this website. So if we click on this now, you're going to see pages.unriddled.com. Let's go back because I didn't actually select the privacy policy page. Now we have highlighted the privacy policy page. We'll close that, go back to publish. Now when I click on this, you're going to see that this is privacy policy. And now we're going to go back to the blog. And I know that's a lot of clicking around. It's a lot of sort of just thinking out loud, but I really want this case study to show you everything that I'm doing, the thought process and why I'm doing it. And really the first time I've used GrooveBlog since I backed Groove in May 2019 to get Groove pages, because it's really the only thing that I use inside of my Groove account. So we'll go ahead and we will say GrooveBlog. Now we have that privacy policy page. We will go and we will edit this. And let's see, where do we link these? This is the navigation here under privacy policy, edit, and here we will add a link. We can have that open in a new tab. And if we don't open that in a new tab, we will need to link back or put this logo in a navigation bar and do all that as well. But for now, we're just going to update that and we're going to publish and we're going to visit our blog. And then when we visit our blog, it's going to load up. And when it loads up, it should have this privacy policy link. As you can see, it didn't change down there actually. Go ahead and load that up. It's what happened. Universe Unriddled. That should be linked to the privacy policy page. Edit that. It's still there. Okay. Universe Unriddled. What happened here? Why is that not loading? Now my blog's not loading. Let's go ahead and publish that again. And then visit the blog again. Now, it's just took a little while, right? We're clicking a lot, publishing, making a lot of changes. Just like with any blog builder or even WordPress, sometimes you have to slow down. You have to save it again, right? Let the cache and the memories and all that stuff catch up with what you're doing. So here's our blog. And again, I'll bring this down because this is under the main domain. It just keeps adding that version. But if you see, this is universeunriddled.com and it is our blog homepage. Our privacy policy, if you look down there, it does go to pagesunriddled.com privacy policy. Of course, now if you click that, that will be our privacy policy page, and we will need a header and we will need a header and a footer down here for navigation. Obviously, we just don't want to leave people in a lurch and not thinking to actually just hit the back button to go back to our blog. So that has taken care of that. Now we need to go back under settings. We got our domain set up. Even if it wasn't really what I wanted it all under the root, but we'll live with the pages.universeunriddled.com. Don't really think it's going to have that big of an impact. Here is where we're going to do tracking in pixels. It's my understanding that this is where we're going to put in the analytics code. So here again, we are under universeunriddled@gmail.com. This is where we're going to do all of our tracking to include, remember, we have our spreadsheet where we're tracking all of our stuff for our blog. When we start making the post, we have ChatGPT posts, we have Koala posts, all the content written by AI. So we're going to be tracking that as well. But now let's go ahead and let's dive into Google Analytics and let's click Start Measuring. Accounts can contain more than one tracking ID. My new account name. Obviously, I want to go back and I want to just copy this right here to make sure that I spell everything correct. You may think it's weird, but I just like to copy and paste a lot of times. That way I don't make any mistakes whatsoever. And then you have account data sharing and settings. This is all going to be just next type stuff, but I want to show it to you real quick. And this one, it wasn't enabled. I'm not even sure what this is. Google products and service. Settings will apply authenticated visitation. Not really too worried about all that. We'll go ahead and say next. Here is the property name. Please fill out that. We're going to go ahead and just go with that same thing. Here, we're going to be moving forward. This should all be GA4, United States. our time zone. I am in Chicago. I'm in Central. US dollars is currency. Show advanced options. Create a universal analytics property. We'll go ahead and we will do that. And this is going to be universeunriddled.com. And it's going to create both a Google Analytics 4 and a universal analytics property. We'll just go ahead and do that. And we are small. How do you intend to use Google Analytics? Measure customer engagement with my site. Optimize my site. Optimize my advertising cost. Yeah, I'm going to do all this. Let's just say app installs. No. Measure lead generation. Sure. Analyze my online sales. Probably not so much. But we'll go ahead and create that. And then, of course, we will read all of this. And we will accept, and we will say, I accept. And then we should have our property created. Here you can see data collection isn't active for your website. View tag instructions. Here is where you're going to need to configure your tags and set up your connection between Google Analytics, your new property, and your GrooveBlog. So, what we're looking at here is what do we need? We need Google tag, configure Google tag behavior, measure no data received, view tag instructions. We're going to click that and we're going to click that. Is it going to give me the page? Okay. Email communications. We're going to save that. Take a tour. It's going to walk us through reports. Right now, migrating from, no, I'm not migrating. Tell us about your choice. I'm not migrating anything, so we'll go ahead and save that because I'm not migrating. You can see no data received. I get that. So what I'm looking for is the button to link this. So let's go back in here. And I want to set this up. I just have to figure out where the tag instructions are. Install your Google tag. I'm telling you, you got to click around and you got to just let these things, you got to find these things. Install the Google tag manually. Below is the Google tag for this account. Copy and paste it in the code of every page on your website immediately after the head element. Don't add more than one Google tag to each page. All right. So we're just going to assume that I'm going to copy this and add it after the head element, which means that we're going to go back to GrooveBlog, that here, and after the head element. So include in the head element. That's my understanding. So after the head element would be include. We're going to go ahead and save that. It saved the changes. Now, the question remains, do we need to go back to the home page and edit and republish? Let's go ahead and go under edit. And then let's go under analytics. And I installed it manually, so we should be good there. Go ahead and say close that. And then eventually what should happen is these should connect with each other. And of course you're going to have to wait, just like everything, right? View tag instructions, close that. You're going to have to wait and see these link up. It should happen rather quickly. And I've done this in the past with WordPress, but obviously I've never done it with Google Blog because, you know, this is the first time that I've used Google Blog. So we have to check that. And then even if there is some way for me to check that, I think there is a tag. I was grabbing my phone real quick to just go to the blog and see if I show up. universeunriddled.com. It's not GrooveBlog anymore. It is universeunriddled.com. Go ahead and go. You can see what I'm doing is I went to the blog on my phone and I wanted to see if I refresh this, if it will actually show up as a user, if it'll show up live. And I think there is a Google Chrome extension for Tag Manager that I might be able to use. So at this point, I've copied the code, I've added it to Google Blog, but maybe what I do need to do is what I'm thinking, that I need to hit publish to actually push that data out to where GrooveBlog hosts this. Because just like I was saying, a lot of times you have to save and publish and save, and there's cache and memories. And of course, Groove is building this in the builder, and then they're literally compiling it for you and pushing it up to web hosting, to actually serve up the page. So we we published that. Now we'll go ahead and we'll refresh that. And I am connected to it on my phone. So let's see if we get a user showing up. And again, this may take a while to sync up, and I've never done this. So we'll probably just let this sort of set up and think about it for a while and move on. And then of course, I may have to go through some of this because data collection, property settings, turn on Google settings. You can see here that none of this has been started. Manage data streams. No data. We did all this. So I've already done that. I've set up the tag. And like I said, if I go back to the tag under GrooveBlog, I have this tagassistant.google.com. I would need to add a domain. This is not actively debugging any domains. Here, I would need to go back and grab this domain, go back to Google Tag Manager, and let's see if we can get this extension. And this is a Chrome extension, Google Tag Manager Chrome extension. So let's connect it and see if it will connect and debug it. Debug information for this page is viewable in a Tag Assistant window. So now you can see here, connected, debug window closed. The connected debug window has been closed. To continue debugging, reopen. So we'll go ahead and reopen it. Debug information, Tag Assistant connected. Okay. See possible reasons why. And then we have to go through all this troubleshooting here and see why it can't connect to this. 2 Google tags found. So you can see here, it does have this UA right here in the API call, Universal Analytics. It also has this property here. So then if we go back to Analytics, measurement ID DGDKZ302V5PG, and we'll go back. So that's it right there. It is connected. It just hasn't synced up yet. So we do have the tags on there. So the tags, that portion has been set up. It just hasn't actually collected any data. Of course, there's no traffic going to it. So we'll see what happens. Oh, look at there. 2 users in the last 30 minutes. That's me, United States, right there. So see, again, I got a little fast. And city, let's see if it shows. Searcy, Arkansas. That's where I am, Searcy, Arkansas. So the connection did work, and we are getting Google Analytics. Welcome to Search Console. We'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing here. You can see how it works. It is just like what you thought it would be. If you've ever used WordPress and set this up before, it is really the same kind of thing. It is me recording this, doing a case study for you, setting this stuff up so you can see it. If you choose to watch the entire thing, then you'll see exactly what I'm doing. And these are just the technical steps. Inside of the Affiliate Accelerator, I talk about this all the time. Step number 2, to get traffic. Once you pick a topic, which we did, to talk about space, now we're going through and understanding the tech and tools, and we're putting them together. So here we need a text records. Sign into your domain provider, copy the text record below into the DNS configuration for unriddled. Now, remember this is saying GoDaddy or Namecheap. Remember we connected this and we let Groove take over the DNS settings for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. Then we're going to go back to Groove. And we're simply going to, if this thing will cooperate with me. Sometimes my mouse gets a little just crazy on me. So here we are back inside of Groove. Of course, we go back to the dashboard. You can see we have access to everything inside of Groove. And what we want to do, even though we're working with GrooveBlog, we want to go under settings and billings. This is where our domain information is, under manage. And remember, the DNS settings for Universe Unriddled are now controlled under, and you can see Groove Pages is popped in here because we have that subdomain, and GrooveBlog. But the settings for all of this are under DNS. So we want to add a record. And to do that, we want to add a text record. And in that text record, we want to call this Google Search. I don't think they told us what to call it, so we'll call it Google Search. And then the content was that tag that we pasted, again, from this text record right here, this Google site verification. We went ahead and we pasted that all in. You see I pasted that under the content. I'll go ahead and save that. DNS validation error. Text. Google search. Cancel. All right. Why is it not? Why are you not letting me set that up? DNS. Add record. Text. Name. Type. Maybe you have to put text there. Save. There you go. It was just a guess. I'm not even going to lie to you. I just said text. You can see here it created txt.universeunriddled.com. And you can see that that record is now in there. For that, we'll go back and let's see if this works. Verify. Verifying this may take a minute. Ownership verification failed. We couldn't find your verification token in your domain's text record. Sometimes DNS changes can take a while to appear. Please wait a few hours, then reopen your property in Search Console. If verification fails again, try adding a different DNS text record. So we will have to, let's click it just one more time to see if it takes. So again, may have to wait a couple hours. So that is part of setting this all up. But you can see the steps that we walked through, the time that it took. This was all done live. This was me doing it. There is a text record there. I did paste it in. We'll go back. You can see that was under universeunriddled.com. Of course, if you click on these or if you highlight these, I think you can click on each one of these. You can see here is pages.unriddled.com where we published our privacy policy. Here's GrooveBlog. We can add different subdomains there, but it is published. Universe Unriddled. Our GrooveBlog is published under that main domain, universeunriddled.com, or that root domain. Our DNS records, we have that text record set up right there. So we'll go ahead and close that. We'll go back to GrooveBlog right quick because really this was what I was trying to do, was get this set up. We saw the two users connected there. So now we have all the information and we'll be able to see when we post our records or when we post our pages, we'll be able to see the traffic. There you go. You can see the two last traffics under analytics. We'll go ahead. Let's just verify this again real quick while we're here. And it still hasn't, so we'll cover that in the next video. And let's go back real quick to the GrooveBlog. Go ahead and go under edit and take a look. What we've done on day 3 is we have one post live. And I really started there to show you sort of the big idea and the big picture of creating that steady, consistent flow of content, because that is step 3 of getting traffic inside of what I do inside of affiliating. Typically, that is how I set up a YouTube channel, but setting up a blog is no different. You literally have to just do the steps. Step 1 is picking picking a topic, the topic that you're going to use to create your traffic. The topic that you're going to continue to talk about after you set up all this tool, set up all the tech and the tools, and dedicate the time to setting this stuff up so you can measure what you're doing. Because we could be in here creating posts all day, but if we didn't set up analytics, we would never be able to see what Google is doing. We'd never see inside a Search Console if the fruits of our labor are paying off. If we can't validate this and get these tools connected, then creating a spreadsheet and creating all the AI content in the world isn't going to matter. So we're going to take the time and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it right. But now we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to think about this. And we are going to go back under Rank IQ. And I want to dive in just real quick. And I know this video has been long, but hang in there with me on day 3, because this is the time that we need to really be dedicating and front loading and getting our plan together. You can see here I have my first keyword phrase under my keyword library. And again, this isn't an AI tool. And we looked at how we could use the AI tool inside of ChatGPT by using the prompt to get the topics, where we use this prompt here, semantically relevant but unique topics under our main category of space. And then of course we narrowed that down in video number 2. But again, I think it's valuable to really say and look at the limitations of what the AI currently here, April 17, 2023, the limitations, because that AI is using data that it has from or up to the data that it was backfilled with up to, I want to say 2021, and you can ask ChatGPT. It'll tell you the date. But using a tool like RankIQ or some other third-party tool that gives you these keywords that is either done through their proprietary algorithms or through their own research, and they're providing you this data, it gives you the best opportunity to really be successful in a short amount of time, along with using the AI tools to actually generate the content. But what I want to do is I want to look at this and I want to say what we're doing and what we're thinking as far as like astronomy facts or astronomy for beginners, because we were talking about using the reports here. And if you click here and you run a report based on this keyword, then this gives you all of the information that I showed you in the other videos. But if we don't have that, and we're still thinking about creating our astronomy basics and what the information we got from ChatGPT about these semantically relevant topics to create that topical authority inside of our blog, we could still use this tool and this information for astronomy for beginners. And then we could take that over to Koala and let the KoalaWriter do the heavy lifting by creating a blog post for us for the target keyword, astronomy for beginners. And then we can move forward with letting the AI create the content. Because at the end of this 100 days, we're simply going to measure what we accomplished by letting AI assist us, by letting AI be our assistant and help us brainstorm all of these ideas that are in our head. And as we put it together, we're only on day 3. Still got 97 days to go to fine tune this every day as we move forward. But for now, we're going to use this keyword, astronomy for beginners. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use the tone of voice that is SEO optimized, confident, knowledgeable, neutral, and clear. We're going to stick with that. And we're just going to say this is a serious topic, so we want the post to come off as the best post that we can create or have created for us for this topic, for this target keyword, to be confident, knowledgeable, neutral, and clear in the fact that this information is for beginners and it's going to help you. So here we're going to use real-time search. We're going to cite sources. We're going to use the online editor inside of Koala. You can check my channel, 30-Minute Marketing, for my Koala review. It covers all of this to include the advanced options. Here we're just literally going to say astronomy for beginners, and we're going to select GPT-4. This is going to cost us more as far as the number of words that we're going to use in our Koala account, but I want to get GPT-4 because I believe in my testing up to this point. And we will play with this a little bit to see, because when it comes to using AI, you kind of have to be stingy in things that you think ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo can do well versus 4. But you want to be stingy in the word count. But in this case, this is going to be a pillar post. This is going to be a major cornerstone article for me, I do believe. So we'll say astronomy for beginners, and we will create the outline. And then here is where KoalaWriter sets itself apart from a generic ChatGPT, which is designed to do a little bit of everything, or to be good at everything and give anyone and everyone the content they need. And here KoalaWriter has come back, and you can see the size of this article, the introduction, and this is providing the H1 tags, the H2, the H3 tags, getting started, basic terminology, considering location and time, observation of the night sky, telescopes and equipment, deep space exploration, astrophotography. You know, this is being able to actually take photographs of the stars and the planets. So we're just going to let Koala do its thing and write this article. Astronomy for Beginners, your essential guide to stargazing and space exploration. And it's literally going to spin out the article and count the words, as you can see right here. And we're going to let it do its thing. And then we will have this blog post that we're simply going to copy and paste over into GrooveBlog. And then we're going to put our editor hat on. And by that, I mean the AI is going to do the heavy lifting for us. But do not shortcut the shortcuts. Read the post. Make sure that it just logically makes sense. And if you don't know anything about the topic, then do a little bit of research. Because even though this is a one-click blog post generator and we're letting AI generate all the content for us, we don't want the blog to be full of a bunch of nonsense. And you should have a general, or you should have the capability, and if you can't, then you need to do the research. You need to look at it and say, look, astronomy for beginners, let me just go and read a few blog posts on astronomy for beginners. Let me get a book and read a book. Let me watch a few YouTube videos and just do a simple verification that what this is spitting out makes sense. You can just say, does this make sense? Right? You could even get into the point, and we may do some of this, where you could look for plagiarism and things of that nature. Just take parts and pieces. And you can see here where it's citing the source. You can see here it's linking out to me to this article. We'll click on that article. We'll read that article. We'll make sure that what it's doing here is citing it correctly based upon the information that it pulled and, you know, the article that it wrote. And my point being here, not to belabor this, but this is going to be a pretty in-depth article. One thing is, don't click off of KoalaWriter. I had learned that in my full review when I examined KoalaWriter in detail. You can check that out again on the channel. I'll try to remember to leave a link here so you can check it out. But let it write. Let it do its thing. But understand that if you're writing about something, or if you're letting the AI write about something, and while I'm talking, I'm going to go back and verify this again to see if the verification has connected. It still hasn't connected yet. And of course, that is the propagation of DNS. DNS literally takes 24, 48 hours. A lot of times it'll happen fast and you can be spoiled, but it does take time. So we'll let that sort of bake in, and we'll let this write this blog post. But I just want to take these few minutes to let you understand. If you think that you're just going to let the AI write about something you absolutely have no interest in, or absolutely have no knowledge about, and you're not going to at least get a cursory sort of view or take the time to figure out like what it's talking about and if it's legit, then this is never going to work, right? Understand that you need to be able to play editor, and you need to take it serious that you're posting this information out there and that it at least reads well, that it makes sense, it's not gobbledygook, and that it can stand on its own next to other content out there. Because if it doesn't, then it can never rank, and the 100 days that we would spend wouldn't be worth the time that we're putting into it. And that's really all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to let this finish, and then we'll come back, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with this content as far as put it into GrooveBlog, because this video is getting quite long. I'm going to pause here, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back, and you can see here the word count, 1,669 words. Now it has copy. You can also download it. If you click the download button, it will download the HTML file, and you could save that. But it will remember it over here. It will be in your history. Of course, if you lose that, then you'd want that backup. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that, and you can scroll down here and you can see everything that it covered: astrophotography, deep space exploration, everything that was in the outline. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GrooveBlog. I'm going to create a new post, and I just want to see how this works. I just want to see what happens when I click here and I simply say paste. You can see there, not perfect, but we'll figure that out as we move along. You can see there, auto guiding, and highlighted that. But you can see the links here, right? All the links are included. I don't know why it's saying that. It's spelled wrong. Anyway, again, We have the tags here. If we highlight those, it should be an H3. It's an H2. This one should be the H1. Of course, we need to take that, and GrooveBlog needs a title, which will basically be the same thing. So the title, and we will go ahead and take that space out there, and we will, let's save draft. Not sure of the order of operation here. Also, we need to select the category, astronomy basics. And I want to take this out. The post slug is going to be the title. It's going to take that by default, but I don't want all of that. I just want astronomy for beginners and the publish date. And then here we can add keywords later. We can put it in the excerpt. Now, I thought that the metadata, and I seen somebody do a video that said that it would read some of this and enter in this metadata. And it did look like it put the title in here in astronomy for beginners. Of course, we'll need an image and all that. And we'll have to come and do that. Of course, we'll need a featured image. We'll go ahead and choose that real quick while we're here. We'll go to free stock photos and we will paste in astronomy for beginners. Actually, let's use that word. Let's use stargazing and see what we get. That word sort of, yeah, I like this. Let's see, a telescope maybe. I don't know if I like that image really. I like this one. Let's go with the telescope for now. And of course, like I said, we are just clicking and we are learning and we are doing a true case study, figuring out what it is we're doing. And then we'll save that draft. See, this didn't change here. I changed my post slug, but the page didn't change here. Let's go ahead and publish it and see what we get, because I changed the post slug, but the page URL here stayed the same. Let's go ahead and exit. Let's save that. Let's see, we have that post here. The post is live. We'll go back to, and let me pull this down so you can see the URL bar. Go ahead and we'll refresh that by going to universeunriddled.com. Now you can see we have another blog post. You can see down here in the left-hand corner, Universe Unriddled Post Astronomy for Beginners. We'll click on that. You can see it did take that and shorten that slug. You can still see we still have post, but we talked about that. As long as it's organized, it's okay. And you can see now that we have a post from Koala. So this is a Koala post. It's linked out to these references where it pulled this data, and it's linked to these. And if you click on those, you'll see that that is a real article. It is a real website. Of course, we'll have to check all those. Like I said, we need to read through this. We need to make sure it makes sense. And then later on, we need to go in, and if we want to, clean it up a little bit as far as leading to other content that we post, interlinking with our content. Because remember, part of creating a blog is interlinking. And this is a Koala post. Koala did this post, Astronomy for Beginners. And I want to grab the title, and the title here is Astronomy for Beginners, your essential guide. And I'll go ahead and I'll click back here and I'll put that in there. And then of course that came in really huge. We'll make that 12 like the other one. So we'll keep this all organized. This is a ChatGPT post. Let's go ahead and say that's green because it's done. And for now, we have two posts. We have a ChatGPT post and we have a Koala post. And of course, we have our analytics. Oh, and we had somebody here. I don't know what that is. Is that me again? Am I still connected? We'll go ahead and say OK. Remember, this is the Google Search Console. Not to bounce around too much, but let's just verify it while we're here. It still has it synced up. So we'll cover that. And if we need to contact support over at Groove, we will do that. But now we have two blog posts. It's day 3. Done a lot in this video. Connected up the domain. We have universeunriddled.com. Now it goes directly to the front page of the blog. We have those two blog posts. We can see the traffic over at Google Analytics. We'll get that Search Console verified as well with that text record. And we're off to the races. This video was quite long. It paused. I did have a few tech glitches, or on my end anyway, the screen blinked a few times at me. It's just my iMac doing what it does. All right, it's part of what we're doing here. Letting the AI build the content. We're reading the content. We're putting our editor hat on. We're verifying it. as much as possible just to make sure that it makes sense when we read it, and make sure that we're not plagiarizing with those links. And we'll cover all that in a few next videos, or the next few videos, as we keep going through the 100 days of AI blogging using GrooveBlog. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.